Good morning, I'm Nick Gutwein, President of BraunAbility, and today's my day in the chair.
I don't know, Cook wasn't here, right, but I thought someone might read it.
It's been really interesting for me. I think my concern was that we couldn't begin to think or feel what it's like for someone who spends every day, day in and day out, in a wheelchair. But I'm finding that just spending this last 4 or 5 hours so far, and maybe the next 4 or 5, that I'm seeing it from a new perspective. And the day-to-day tasks that seem to come so easily for us, aren't so easy, and there's a lot of inconveniences. I did an audit out in the plant, and I've noticed that in the conversation, it was very hard for me to hear and hard for me to get good conversation without being face to face. I was looking up, and it was noisy out there, and I was doing an audit, and it was very hard being so far away. I took for granted the fact that we are wheelchair friendly at Braun, that the doors and the bathrooms and everything are right. I think that is huge. And especially this being National Disability Employment Awareness Month, those things are critical to be able for people in a wheelchair to be able to do everything they possibly can to get their job done. There is no limit. I can understand now that as long as society and companies provide the opportunity and the infrastructure, people with disabilities can do anything and even more because they face so many challenges in their lives. It's very important to note that the unemployment rate among people with disabilities is about twice the rate of the population, and that's unacceptable. And we have a role as companies to play in that, in terms of education, and that's what this month should be about, letting people know that people with disabilities can do great things, and we need to be aware of that and provide opportunity for that. Probably the biggest surprise to me was when they sent me on an errand to the post office to mail a letter, that it's 2010, the 20th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Acts, and our post office isn't accessible. That's just surprising to me. So I drove one of our vans, as an experience, which I wasn't very, graceful at all. When I got there, I just couldn't imagine sitting at the bottom of that stairway. And fortunately, I had a button to press, but and people were walking by looking at me, and it's like, I couldn't get in at a post office. The people there were great. They were sensitive and they wanted to help, but that doesn't take the place of a facility that should be accessible. It's... This package?
Sure.
How much?
Should be like $2, less than $2.
All right. You guys going to make this accessible pretty soon?
We'd like to.
I do want to emphasize that this is only the tip of the iceberg, and in no way is this going to replicate what a day or the life is like for somebody that's in a wheelchair and that's disabled. So it's just a taste, and I think it's good to have that taste.